Battlefield 6 Season 3 is finally here, and two new weapons have been added into the game. The Assault Rifle M16A4 and the LMG RPK-74M. Now I know you're probably excited to jump in and start leveling these guns up, but the real question is, are they worth your time to level up and unlock attachments? In today's video, we're going to answer that question. We cover which one is actually worth leveling up and which one you should stay away from, along with the weapon stats and damage drop-offs. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys a few of my favorite builds. So let's dive in. The first weapon we're going to be going over today is the RPK-74M. You can unlock it through the Battle Pass under the Warlord's Hunter section by clicking on it and scrolling all the way down on the very first tab. Now, before we jump into the base weapon stats and the damage drop-offs for the RPK-74M, I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I was not a fan of this gun whatsoever. No matter how I built it out, I just couldn't get it to work for me. Me personally, I like to jump on objectives and be in close quarters, and there was no way for me to be able to build this one out for me to be able to win those close engagement fights. This gun is strictly made for mid to long range encounters only. If you are a fan of the AK-205, this is pretty much the big brother to it. We'll kind of compare them both a little bit later in this video. Now, with that being said, if you do like playing RedSec and you enjoy using the KTS, you're going to love the RPK-74M. This thing has little to no recoil and it's very precise, but I do feel like the KTS outshines the RPK-74M, especially in RedSec, just because it deals more damage. Now for the base weapon stats for the RPK-74M, it's going to be dealing 20 damage with a rate of fire of 685 and a magazine size of 45. Hip fire at 34, precision at 53, and control of 60. Both of those are very important. Like I said, this thing is super accurate, especially for RedSec, and mobility of 44. Jumping into the damage drop-offs for the RPK-74M, it's going to have 3 different damage drop-offs. The first one, going to be dealing 20 damage all the way up to 21 meters. Second damage drop-off, you're going to be dealing 17 all the way up to 75 meters. And the third and final damage drop-off, you're going to be dealing 14 damage from 76 meters on. So with the 20 damage all the way up to 200 meters, it's going to make it a 5 body shot kill or 4 to the head. Now, like I just mentioned in the beginning of this video, the RPK-74M is pretty much the big brother for the AK-205. We can quickly look at the damage drop-offs and kind of compare them to. They're both going to be dealing 20 damage, but for the AK-205, you're only going to be dealing 20 damage up to 9 meters. Then after that, 18 up to 21 meters. Then 15 up to 36 meters. 14 up to 75 meters. And then from 76 meters on, you're going to be dealing 12 damage. Now, just looking at both of the damage drop-offs for both these weapons, you can see they both do 20 damage, but the AK-205 has a much bigger drop-off than the RPK-74M. The only two things that really set these two guns apart is the AK-205 is going to fire a little bit faster than the RPK-74M, but the AK-205 has a much lower bullet velocity of 737. With the RPK, you're able to get that bullet velocity all the way up to 1050, making this a much better option for long-range encounters. Now, you're probably wondering why I compared the AK-205 to the RPK-M, since they're two different weapon classes, but like I just said a little while ago, both the guns are very similar. Just one's going to hold its damage a little bit longer and have more bullet velocity. One's going to fire a little bit quicker. But now let's compare the RPK-M to another LMG in its class. Now, if we compare the damage drop-offs from the KTS to the RPK-74M, you might see why more people might lean more towards the KTS for longer range encounters. As you can see, the KTS deals more damage and holds it for longer ranges, making this thing, I think, the go-to still for RedSec players. But this is just one of those situations to where it more comes down to personal preference. If you want, the slower firing rate of the KTS, that's going to deal more damage, or the more faster fire rate from the RPK-74M, but you're just going to be dealing less damage. It's all just personal preference. In my opinion, you really can't go wrong with choosing either of these for long range encounters, but for me personally, I would go with the KTS just because it deals more damage for longer ranges. All right, now we're going to take a look at the recoil pattern for the RPK-74M. This is with no attachments. And as you can see, the recoil is pretty straightforward. It's just going to go up vertical a little bit. And if we take a closer look here, you can tell the bullet groupings are, are very small. That means this weapon is very precise. Like I said before, this thing is, a laser and RedSec, especially in multiplayer, but just multiplayer, you're going to have to just play this weapon a little bit different, especially since the time to kill is so fast. And this gun, if you use it, up close at all, you're going to lose so many gunfights. So strictly mid-range to long range with this thing. And you can see this thing is meant to be built out for precision. All right, now going off of the information that we just went over, we know this thing is, strictly a mid to long range build, so we're going to lean into that. First attachment here is going to be the new attachment, the buffer here. It's going to reduce visual impacts of recoil when firing. This one you can unlock through one of the challenges. I'll put it here on the screen. I forget which one it was exactly. Then from there, we're going to do a optic of your choice. I like the Baker 3 times. Then we're just going to go with the standard suppressor. The heavy extended barrel, the 45-point stubby. It's a low profile one. You could switch this one out if you want. You could switch it out and you could probably put on hollow points or synthetic. Base 45 round mag and standard ammo. Like I said, this is the build that I found most success with. There's a few things you can change around if you want. Like I said, the 45-pound stubby, you can take this one off. You can put a vertical. From there you can go, you put a different ammo. This is another one, ammo here. So you can do synthetics with a headshot multiplier. It's all just personal preference, but for me, I really like this 45-pound stubby, and I found the most success with this one, with the recon class, just kind of staying around objectives, using my recon drone, and kind of just picking these guys off as they're coming onto the objectives. All right, now moving on to the M16A4. It can be unlocked here and through the battle pass again through the Tiger Shark here. And it's going to be the very first tier all the way at the very end. Now, unlike the RPK-74M, the M16 has easily become one of my favorite guns out of all the weapons of Battlefield 6. I highly suggest you guys go after this one right away and unlock it and level it up because it is extremely good. It's probably one of the most consistent guns now in Battlefield 6. And I highly suggest you guys use this with the 3 burst and not go towards the fully automatic. Leaving it in 3 burst mode is going to make this thing extremely easy to use and very consistent. And I promise you, you guys level this thing up, you guys are going to be frying with it. But now let's jump into the base weapon stats and damage drop-offs for the M16. The M16A4 has a base damage of 25, a rate of fire of 771, and a mag size of 30. It's going to have 30 hip fire, 27 precision, 43 control, and 52 mobility. As far as the damage drop-off ranges go for the M16, it's going to have 3. It's going to be dealing 25 damage all the way up to 21 meters, 20 damage up to 75 meters, and then from 76 meters on, it's going to be dealing 17 damage. Now with that 25 damage profile, up to 21 meters, it's going to be a 4 body shot, or a 2 burst to kill, and 3 bullets to the head to kill, or 1 full burst. Now here's a look at the M16 recoil powder with no attachments. Now, as you can see, the recoil powder is mostly vertical with a little bit of pull to the right. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, the M16A4 has easily become one of my favorite weapons to use so far out of all the weapons of Battlefield 6. You can see I got all the way up to level 51. And what makes this weapon so special is it can be used 2 different ways. You can use it from mid to long range and up close. All right, the first build I have you guys is strictly mid to long range. Some of these attachments can be swapped out for other things, but this is the one I found the most success with. The first one's going to be an optic of your choice. For me, I like this 25.1, this 1 through 5 times variable. You know, costs a lot of points, but for me, I really like it, and I just feel like it has like less visual recoil. It's probably placebo, but it's whatever. I really like this on this gun. Then we go violet laser, just a standard suppressor, heavy extended barrel, the rib vertical, standard mag size, and standard ammo. Like I said, you can take off this optic here and switch it out. You could probably do, you know, a Baker 3 times, and that way you could put on, you know, a bigger mag size or a different underbarrel if you want. But like I said, this build, I highly suggest you guys try this one out. You're gonna like it. All right, now this last build I have for you guys is a little bit more of an aggressive build. You're gonna use this one if you want to be, you know, up close and capturing objectives. First attachment, it's gonna be this aftermarket buffer here, then the one-time sight, violet laser. The light here is gonna be the tac aim light. You could take this one off here and put a bigger mag size. You could go 36 round, but I don't like to put that on there because it slows me down a little bit. The standard suppressor, heavy extended barrel for the bullet velocity, full angled grip, 30 round fast mag, and standard ammo. Now, if you guys found any value in today's video, a like would be appreciated. Also, consider subscribing to the channel to stay up to date with all future weapon guides. Also, make sure to turn notifications on because the next video I'm going to drop next week is going to be an updated controller settings guide. The last one I did very well. A lot of people liked it. I have made a few changes and I want to share them with you guys. And I promise you guys, it's the only controller settings video you're going to need. Until next time, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to watch my video. And as always, chase your dreams because your dreams won't chase you. Peace.